Fangs of Deception by T.K. Orbelyan. Narrated by Harley Roberts. Chapter 1. It was the kind of meandering road Terence loved. As he drove, he admired the pastures and lush foliage of the trees lining both sides of the road. It was the middle of October, his favourite month, and the trees had already begun their annual display of resplendent colours, showing off a repertoire of reddish-brown and mellow gold that made this part of England renowned for its autumnal beauty. It was drizzling, and every now and then the tarmac glistened as the late afternoon sun made an occasional appearance from behind the shifting clouds. Emily, his wife of 5 years, was asleep next to him. She was a vet, a profession that suited her admirably, given how compassionate and caring she was towards animals. After a week of dealing with several cases of dogs being brought in with severe liver damage, she was quite exhausted. Now, as Saturday afternoon progressed into early evening, she was catching up on some rest, which gave Terence, or Terry, as most people called him, the chance to engage in some quiet reflection on his life of 44 years and a few months. It had certainly been an eventful couple of years. The pandemic had upended everyone's lives and ushered in a new reality. But in recent months, it had been relegated from its spot as the main topic of discussion, with the war in Ukraine and climate change taking center stage in the mainstream media. Looking back over the previous 2 years, Terry grimaced at how unrecognizable the world had become. His small specialist bookshop in Bloomsbury had almost gone belly up, first due to the mandated lockdowns, and then due to the many regulations the government had brought in, purportedly to contain the spread of the virus. His business had picked up a little since the spring, but now he felt that the tsunami of bad economic news making the headlines every day was a harbinger of an impending financial meltdown that would tip things over the edge. Compounding things was the outbreak of other potentially dangerous diseases around the world, such as monkeypox, avian flu, and polio. He thought of all the time and effort he had put into the bookshop. He had given it everything, and it had done very well in its first few years until the start of the pandemic, specializing in non-fiction works on politics and history from a distinctly left-wing perspective, had given him an outlet for self-expression, as well as plenty of opportunities to meet people with the same belief system. He had made plenty of useful contacts through the business, and he was very thankful for it. He also loved the location, being so close to his alma mater, the London School of Economics, as well as Senate House, where parts of his favorite comedy series of the early 1990s, Jeeves and Wooster, were filmed. Yes, the location was fantastic, and his bookshop was his safe haven, a shelter from the brutal, cutthroat world that had grown progressively more objectionable to him as the years went by. He had been able to make the hefty investment to open Barricade Books only because of the money he had made during the 2 years he had worked in corporate finance for an investment bank in the city. It was not an obvious place for him to pursue a career, the son of a retired university professor, and ardent socialist working in an investment bank, but his father had been supportive. "It's important to know how the kleptocracy operates," he'd say, whenever somebody asked him about it. And indeed, he had learnt a lot about how mergers and acquisitions are engineered for no reason other than to generate big fees for the bank, how financial products are designed to ensure extra high returns for the super rich, and how elaborate networks of trusts and foundations are created to help hide the ultimate beneficial owners of vast amounts of wealth. Yes, he had seen it all. But he was also grateful to his erstwhile employer for the extensive training he had been given in Singapore in the summer of 2003. He had loved the experience and made a few good friends along the way. Marcus from Germany was the funniest of them. I really should get in touch with him, Terry thought to himself, recalling their regular weekend bouts of drinking and partying. But as interesting as the work had...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?